if I decide, or if I'm granted the opportunity, because it's not up to me, to become a parent, right? And I think about how I would parent my children, offsprings. I would pretty much say children, offspring, a product of my semen. But I would essentially put them in a situation where, of course, I wouldn't just have one, but there would be a high level of accountability from the jump. If I mess up, there's got to be like, all right, cool, we're going to apologize. If, you know, my wife were to mess up, if the child were to mess up, there needs to be an understanding collectively. Hey, you messed up. You take a moment to be accountable for your mess up. And there's no judgment, no guilt behind it. You should be accustomed to saying, hey, I was wrong. Yeah. Cool. And then furthermore, when a mistake happens, there has to be an understanding of there's a consequence for the mistake. And it's not just individualistic, because in life, there's many different moments in which you can make a mistake. You don't recognize the ramifications it has on everybody around you. So let's just say, got a daughter, Samantha messes around and not, you know, get her grades done in school the right way. Cut one of her toes or whatever, off. Right? I don't know so much about cut the toes off. That's kind of far. Shoot her in the foot. But let's just say, all right, cool. You said you wanted to get an A. Yeah. You ended up getting a C. And it wasn't as if, oh, well, you weren't prepared for the exams or whatever. You weren't studying. You didn't do your homework. You didn't show up to class when you were supposed to be over there. You kept completely messed up. Cool. The whole family's now going to suffer. Let's go run a mile. Oh, well, I don't feel, well, let's go run a mile. Oh, well, the wife, your mother's pregnant. Guess what? She's running because of you. Your father got a messed up foot. He's running because of you. Your brother got a messed up back. He's on crutches. Well, he's out there hopping because of you. There has to be an understanding of, you know, there's repercussions for your actions, and it doesn't only affect you.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know about that, man. The reason I don't know about that, because people are going to assume, let's say someone does that, right? They're going to assume that, like, they can just keep doing it because they're like, whatever, I'll run. They don't want to run. And you almost build hatred for like that person. Let's say you have siblings. Right. You build hatred for the siblings because it's like, you keep fucking us up. What's wrong with you? Like, we're not going to talk to you anymore. You're the fuck up of the family. That's what I feel like it becomes.
But then the opposite side of something like that would be, because although we're going to celebrate, we would all, like when somebody wins, we would all celebrate together collectively. But in a scenario like that, I think it would be a point where the other siblings would hold them accountable. Like, hey, listen, you're also, because if you enjoy doing the punishment, that's one thing. But if you get a kick out of making other people have to suffer through something because you're messing up, there's going to come a time in which that tension has to come to a head. And it's, unless you're somebody who's like a sociopath or something of that nature where you really just get a kick out of that, more often than not, you'll probably self-correct because it's not coming from a place of malice. It's like, this is what the standard is.
So here's a I guess I hate to use your family as an example, but let's say we use your family. Right. How would you feel if every time your brother didn't like exercise for a day or didn't like wasted a day or sat on the couch for a day, you had to take heat for that?
Oh, I'd be frustrated. I'd be completely frustrated. But although I would begin to, you know, build that resentment for him, there's no way I don't have a conversation with him. Like, hey, listen, you are fucking up. Okay, not only me, but yourself and those around you.
But let's say you've had a conversation. Like you hired him to work for you, to exercise, to do all that stuff. You tried your best already. Right. But let's say he just doesn't.
Yeah, but it wasn't the standard from when we were kids. Because it's almost like I'm trying to put the discipline in at this stage now, well into adulthood.
But I feel like that's almost like a, so let's take capitalism and socialism, right? Right. It's almost like a socialist household. Because now the kids say, oh, I did a great job, but they fucked up and now I'm paying for their mistakes. In the same way, oh, I did a great job in society. I pay a bunch of taxes, but now I have to fucking pay for everyone else's mistakes because he wanted to fuck up and not get a good living, not build a business, not build something. Right. He's broke now. I have to pay for his mistakes. Right. Even though I did great. So I'm almost like the opposite. I want to do like a capitalistic household where, hey, if you fuck up, you deal with your consequences on your own. Let's say someone does a great job. Oh, cool, reward. We're all getting ice cream. Right. But let's say someone fucks up. Like, hey, listen, you messed up. Like, everyone else is going to get the reward because they did what they had to do. You're not going to get it.
Yes, but
So
I get exactly where you're coming from, because there definitely is a element of the socialism that did. But then the thing is, with the celebration of like the wins, you have to understand that although this person did what it took for us to all celebrate collectively, you didn't necessarily contribute to that. Like, there has to be a constant reinforcing in the mind of, hey, we're celebrating him or we're celebrating her in this moment, and then when we all fuck up, we're fucked up because you had messed up here. Because I think there could be a level of isolation if it's like, all right, you fucked up, you got to deal with the consequences. We're all going to go out and go get ice cream. We're eating the ice cream in front of you, which I completely get, because I had that level of coldness. I don't even want to say coldness. It's truly discipline. Yeah, yeah. I had that when I was coming up as well. But then I look at it from the element of, you don't want that one to now stray away from the herd and then be influenced from the outside, and all of a sudden you take on a ideology or something that you never actually really experienced.
So I think there's a way. I think you have to be very careful with how you do it, because I agree it could be dangerous. Right. But I think, like, let's say you have 2 sons. One does a great job, one does a bad job. You can go to the one that does a bad job. Hey, I love you. You're my son. I know you're better than this. You're just not gonna get the reward today just because you didn't do your thing. But next time you do it, like, use this as an experience. I feel like if you come at it from a very understanding perspective, and you say, hey, the reason that this happened is because you didn't do it. Next time, I'm gonna make sure you do it. I'm gonna try to help you through it so you're able to do it next time. And next time comes around, I'm like, hey, do you remember what happened last time? How bad you felt? How they were celebrating and you didn't get a chance of that? Like, let's try and pick it up. Like, I feel like if you could be encouraging, then they're gonna be like, okay, let me try my best. And if they don't, they don't. But at the same time, I'd rather do that, because it shows them that, like, it's the real world. It's the real world in the sense of, like, in the real world, someone else fucks up, it doesn't affect you.
To a certain degree, depends, because let's just say if you're working as a team per se, somebody messes up, you now have to pick up their slack. It could be on a micro level, but then it could become macro over time if that person just continues to go and fuck up. But I'm there with you with the encouragement, because I think that's one of the things where I would love to incorporate like family meetings, things of that nature. We'll all come together, and again, it has to be in a space to where you can be open, honest about things, and you're not coming from a very judgmental, because I think there has to be an element of judgment. I think it's foolish to ever think that you can't judge somebody, but it depends on how you do it.
I don't think you should be allowed to judge your kids because they're a byproduct of you.
No, yes, but then it all depends on what's the intent behind the judgment, because you can judge somebody positively versus, because we usually look at judging as just a negative connotation, but ultimately if we all come together, you're like, all right, you're struggling in school. Why are you struggling in school? What is the focus that's here? You're struggling in extracurricular activities. You're struggling in sports. You're struggling with, whether it be exercise, whether it be focus, whether it be, whatever your interest may be, even in video games. If you can't seem to figure something out, what is it that's not clicking, and how can we collectively as a group aid you in doing better? Because of course, as let's just say your kids is struggling to put together like a crossword puzzle or something of that nature, you look at it like it's not that big of a deal. But if you already from age 4 until age 15 created an environment to where they look at the family as the nest that they can always come to find, get their problem solved, they'll never have to look externally outside of the core unit in order to go and get that. So in my mind, for everything that I've said regarding, like, whether it been as a group being punished or as a group being celebrated or coming together in a family, it's just to really bring back that old school family core unit. Like, we all we need, we all we got, we all we need.
Well, it's weird, so when it comes to that, I think an element of struggle is the reason that happens. Because if you see wealthier families, they don't tend to be as tight knit as like a great example. Me, my mom, my brother, we're super tight. We're super close because we were broke. So we're like living on top of each other. My mom's house is not that big. Probably it's the size of, it's smaller than the first floor of the penthouse. So we were just living on top of each other 24/7. And because you're so close, you like almost build a bond without even trying. It's like growing up with someone. Like, you're going to build a bond just because you're there with them. Whereas like wealthier families, you don't really build as much of a bond, because like, I'm in my room, this person's in their room, they're all away from each other. They can avoid each other, so they're not forced to like coexist. So I think a common struggle, let's say you have no adversity, there's no struggle, there's no common enemy. What do you guys band together for? But when you're broke, it's like, yo, this is all we got.